was working super hard on a makeup tutorial show. She was teaching smoky eyes to folks out there who really wanted to know when some freaky deaky science stuff only understood by nerds zapped her into old radio shows, the kind you might never have heard. Now she should probably be trying to get out, but Madison, she's having fun living an old-time radio life. Our explanation is done.
Madison is on the air.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers.
What? No spoilers?
And that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke.
How do you handle anyone with the smell of Gunsmoke? Does he have really sensitive olfactory organs?
Gunsmoke, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. You know, Madison, a morning like this makes a man glad to be alive.
This entire town smells like manure.
A little nippy, maybe, but just fine. Indian summer's hanging on.
Oh, jeez. This is a 1950s Western. PC is not going to be on the menu, is it?
You know, Madison, this time of year I wouldn't trade western Kansas for everything east of the Mississippi.
Wait, this is Kansas? Why the hell did Dorothy want to get back here so bad?
Ah, good. Pedro's got a fire going.
Pedro? Oh, God, please don't tell me you've got some Latino houseboy who sounds like Speedy Gonzales.
I made the fire.
Oh, good morning, Caleb.
I've been waiting for you to come in.
You know Caleb Andrews, don't you, Madison?
I don't know. You on Insta?
Marshal, I have an order here from the U.S. District Court. I believe it's your job to serve such orders.
Yeah, it is. I don't get 'em often, though. Order of foreclosure and eviction on Ed Blake. Why are you doing this to Ed, Caleb?
The man borrowed money from me. Gave me a mortgage on his farm and household effects. He can't pay it.
Ooh, harsh.
It only came due 3 days ago. You sure didn't waste any time.
3 days? My student loans haven't been paid in like 6 years.
I'm not interested in either of your opinions.
Are you interested in personal hygiene? Can I interest you in a toothbrush or perhaps some underarm deodorant?
I don't need no lip from...
Were you about to say woman? Because I'm wearing a gun and I have no idea how to use it.
Calm down, Madison. All right, Caleb. Says here, amount of the mortgage, $420. What do you need with $420? You own half of Ford County now.
Wait. Time out. His entire mortgage is $420? My monthly rent is 3 times that. Oh, but this is Kansas. Yeah, that makes sense.
Marshal, it's not your place.
You know as well as I do why Ed Blake can't pay this off. His horse rolled on him last spring and broke his leg.
Oh, God, horses can roll? You're not getting me on a horse. No way. Western or not, I don't care.
Then his wife and kid nearly broke their backs trying to get a crop out.
I will never understand why anybody wants to be a farmer.
I didn't come here to listen to you.
If you let this ride on through the winter, you'll get your money out of it. But if you go ahead and foreclose now, you'll wipe them out.
Marshal, I already have foreclosed.
Ah, dick move.
You'd break a man for $420 you don't even need, huh?
I think I'm witnessing the birth of corporate banks.
As I said, your opinions don't interest me. All I expect from you is to serve these papers.
All right, I'll serve them.
Is that really our job here? I was expecting more shootouts with bank robbers and less paperwork.
You'll notice they're to be served today.
I said I'd serve them. Now get out. This office belongs to the United States government. And as far as I know, that's one thing you got no mortgage on.
I'm pretty sure in my day, rich guys do own the U.S. government.
You may find I have some influence in Washington, Marshal Dillon.
Then see if you can get me a decent salary for this rotten job of mine.
Eee, somebody's cranky now.
All right, Madison, let's saddle up.
Saddle up? As in getting on a horse? Can't you slow down?
You were the one who didn't want to ride a horse.
Well, I assumed you wouldn't either, and we'd both walk.
Why should I get sore feet if I don't have to?
Oh, God. These Prada heels were not meant for the outback.
Outback?
Deserty, prairie, whatever. Somebody needs to invent asphalt and plow over these, ow, cactuses.
Cacti.
You want to give me a vocabulary lesson? Because I have some choice words I could use right about now.
Hey, Marshall.
Hiya, Jimmy. Whoa, boy.
Ew, your horse snorted snot on me.
Looky here what I got, Marshall.
Well, it looks to me like a mighty dead coyote.
Oh, that's disgusting.
He's been killing my chickens, so last night I hid out behind the barn.
Yeah?
I got him with one shot, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, goody. A little serial killer in the making.
Matt Dillon, how are you?
Oh, good morning, Gertie.
And who's this?
Madison, Standish, howdy your... whatever.
You don't look so good, honey.
Excuse me while I'm just gonna sit here on this rock, okay?
Well, it's good to have some visitors. Why don't you two come on in?
Well, thank you, but,
Jimmy, now that you showed the marshal your thing, take it away somewhere.
It sure is a big one, ain't it, Mr. Dillon?
yeah, about the biggest I ever saw, Jimmy.
I hope you're still talking about the dead coyote.
Come on, let's go inside.
Well, we really can't stay, Gertie.
Oh, nonsense. You don't get out here but once in a coon's age.
She means raccoon. Oh, God, are we gonna get emails on this episode?
Ed's not here, so I welcome the company.
Well, we just can't, that's all. The thing is that, you say Ed's away.
Yes, he's in town. Matt, you're not yourself. What is it?
Well, I suppose I ought to talk to Ed about this, but maybe it'll be better if he hears it from you.
Here's what.
Well,
Just pull the Band-Aid off, Matt.
so here's the thing, Miss Blake, Gertie.
Some tough old West lawman you are. You can't even tell her that Caleb Andrews is foreclosing and evicting them.
Oh, no. We were so sure he'd extend it. He knows what happened and why we couldn't pay it. We were sure he'd extend it.
Yeah, well, he's a dick.
Matt, how long before we have to get out?
5 days.
So soon? You were right, Matt. It's better that Ed hears it from me. Coming on top of everything else, well, I can't let it break him.
Gertie, if there's anything I can do, you let me know, huh? I'm sorry.
Thank you, Matt.
Come on, Madison. Let's head back.
No more walking. My kingdom for a Honda Civic.
Matt, you've looked low all week.
Oh, it's just things in general, Kitty. Sometimes you get to wondering if it's all worth it or not.
The Blakes, huh? Madison was telling me. She also was telling me about something called Netflix and Chill. Said you and I should try it.
Madison talks too much.
It's not your fault, Matt. Somebody had to serve the order.
Somebody has to be hangman, too.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Madison. Life's never all good, Matt. There's always a little bad in it. Try making a living sometime as a dance hall girl.
Dance hall girl? Oh, is that 'cause in the 50s on radio you couldn't say whore?
Excuse me?
Like how in I Love Lucy they couldn't say pregnant.
Are you calling me a pregnant whore?
Wow, that conversation went south fast.
There you are, Marshal. Stop by the jail.
You better apologize, unless you want me to show you what a dance hall girl can do to that pretty little face of yours.
I hope you're not going to give me makeup tips, because I can tell by your old cracked skin that you never moisturize.
That Blake family, Marshall? They were supposed to vacate today.
Not now, Caleb.
Moisturize? I'll show you moisturize.
Saloon fight! Now this is a Western.
Well, they haven't done it!
Who hasn't done what?
The Blakes! They haven't made the slightest preparation to...
Is that all you got? I went to 3 summers of cheerleader camp. You gotta do better than that. Gah!
Marshall, I believe I prefer to discuss our business elsewhere than in the presence of this...
Catfight? This is the most fun I've had all week.
Watching 2 pathetic pieces of used-up baggage.
What did you call me?
Caleb, you're going to apologize to Miss Kitty and Madison right now.
Apologize? If you think I'm going to apologize to this cheap harlot and your saloon girl...
Wait, I'm the harlot?
You do wear a lot of makeup.
That's it, Caleb. I've had enough.
Matt, you shouldn't have done that.
Why not, Kitty? He had it coming to him.
You knocked him unconscious! That is so badass. Up high. You don't know what that means.
He'll do everything he can to hurt you now. He'll take it out on the Blakes, too.
Yeah, maybe. Look, Kitty, I just got an idea. I'll see you later.
All right, Matt.
Come on, Madison.
Good fight, Kitty. And you did it in a corset. I'm thoroughly impressed. Later!
But, Matt, the mere fact a man runs a bank doesn't always mean he's got a free hand in everything he does. A bank has stockholders, a board of directors, and I've got to listen to them.
I think they'd approve the loan, Clem.
Caleb Andrews is the biggest account I've got. Why, if I crossed him by taking this loan you suggest, Matt, he'd break me.
All right, Clem, forget it.
It is so cute that you thought a bank would help people.
Matt, I realize I'm under obligation to you. You saved my life that time the James brothers held me up. Saved the bank too, in fact.
A bank robbery with the James brothers? Like Jesse James? Why aren't we doing that story instead of this Old West version of the 2008 mortgage crisis?
If you want shootouts with bad guys, why don't you go over to the Lone Ranger?
With Tonto, his Indian companion? Ugh, that show's a woke culture nightmare.
I know I owe you, Matt.
That was part of my job, Clem. There's no obligation. I was just asking you as a friend to help out another friend.
It's not that I don't want to.
I understand, Clem. I really do.
Hey, Clem, if you totally want to make it up to Matt, what can you do about my student loans?
Madison.
We'll talk later.
And then you'll use the match to light the wood.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried for a week when we went from an electric to gas stove, but this is caveman stuff.
It's a rough existence out here on the frontier.
You're telling me your bathrooms are a hole in the ground with a garden shed over it. Still better than the porta potties at Coachella.
Well, the fire ought to hold a while. Pretty cold out there.
A wood-burning stove in a wooden building with wooden floors and no fire extinguishers. OSHA is going to be all over you.
I guess we better have Pedro lay in some more wood.
Please not Pedro. We've gotten this far without any horrific stereotypes.
Come in.
Can we bother you, Matt?
Ed. Well, come in, come in. Gertie. Well, hiya, Jimmy. Come on up to the stove, folks. Come on.
Kind of like to impose on you for tonight. We haven't got any place to go, no money. Wonder if we can sleep in the jail tonight.
Oh, sure, Ed. Madison, will you get a fire going back there?
Probably not successfully, no.
Jimmy, you go along and help Miss Madison now. Go on.
All right, Ma.
Aw, man, I'm not good with kids. Don't cry. Hey, Jimmy, kill any helpless animals lately?
He doesn't understand all this, Matt. He
Gertie, we may as well get your stuff out of the wagon.
Well, there ain't any wagon, Matt, where you walked into town.
6 miles? With that leg?
I know, but that wagon, the horses, all the household goods, they're all covered by that mortgage. We didn't take anything except the clothes on our backs.
So help me, Ed. If I could...
Ed and I can accept it. We're not bitter any longer. Jimmy can't understand. He's been carrying on pretty bad. But he's just a boy, and in time he'll be able to...
Okay, good news or bad news first?
What?
Good news, I got the fire started. Yay me.
What's the bad news?
Bad news. Jimmy may have grabbed a rifle from the rack and ran out the back door.
What?
Where on earth's he going?
I think I know where he's going. And heaven help Caleb Andrews if we don't catch him.
This is why it's so important to have gun safety around children. Jeez, you guys sure do have a coyote problem out here, don't you?
That's Caleb's house on the corner. Looks dark. He may not be home. At least I hope he isn't.
I was really expecting more shootouts with outlaws, not some 10-year-old kid.
We're not having a shootout with a 10-year-old kid.
Good, because this is seriously bordering on police deadly force territory.
Shh.
I streamed all of the protests. I'm too woke to be a part of this.
Quiet. There's somebody back of that tree, up there on the left.
Is it him?
Yeah, it's him, all right. I can see the moonlight on the rifle barrel. Jimmy, it's me, Matt Dillon.
Go away, Mr. Dillon. Better go away. Don't bother me.
I can't do that, Jimmy. You're a friend of mine, and I figure you're waiting here to do something that you'd be sorry for. And I can't let you do that.
Nothing you can do about it, Mr. Dillon. I got a gun here. I'm gonna kill him. You go away now. Leave me alone.
Keep talking to him.
And say what? Hey, little psychopath, please don't kill anybody?
Just keep him talking.
Fine. Jimmy? It's Madison.
Miss Madison?
Yeah. Hey. I know how you feel. Caleb is a total douche nozzle.
He took our farm.
Yeah, and that sucks. But you can't just kill anybody you want to, even if he totally deserves it. Trust me, after my last boyfriend drained my bank account, I looked into it.
I kept waking up nights and hearing Mom crying. Dad sits up all night without the lamp lit, not saying anything, just sitting.
I've been there. When my boyfriend dumped me, I tried to drown my sorrows in pumpkin spice lattes. All it did was get me totally wired on caffeine and sugar. So I tracked down his car at his new girlfriend's apartment, slit the tires, and scratched "Kevin's a whore" on the hood. And as I watched the tow truck I called haul it away, I realized that,
What did you realize?
I realized revenge feels good, so probably not the most appropriate story to share right now.
Easy now, Jimmy.
Why did he do this to us, Mr. Dillon?
I don't know, Jimmy. But I think it's best we take that rifle back to the jail and put it in the rack and go to bed. Don't you?
Yeah, Mr. Dillon. I'm sorry. And Miss Madison?
Yeah, Jimmy?
That Kevin is a whore.
Aw, for the mouths of babes.
I could have told you Clem at the bank wouldn't do anything, Matt. He wouldn't dare. He's scared of Caleb.
Yeah, that's about what he said. I don't know, Kitty. I've done everything I could possibly think of.
Hey, guys!
Not you again.
I apologized for the pregnant whore thing.
No, you didn't.
Didn't you get my text? Oh, well, sorry.
The worst of it is, everybody in town's just as scared of Caleb as Clem is. I doubt if they'll even have the nerve to bid against him at the sale.
Ugh. Are we still talking about the mortgage thing? No bank robbers or train robbers or... What about a stagecoach? Can't we stop a stagecoach robbery or something?
Caleb will probably get the place at not much more than the amount of the mortgage.
$420. Matt, I've seen more than that change hands across a poker table in one deal.
I've spent more than that on a pair of shoes. Well, when my dad thought his credit card had, gone missing.
I beg your pardon, Miss Kitty.
Oh, hey there, Jack.
I'm not usually one to eavesdrop on people, but I've been listening to you folks.
Jack, have you met Marshall Dillon?
No, I haven't had the pleasure.
OMG, Kitty. You've gone to Funky Town with both of them, haven't you?
It's hard for a single woman to make her way in the wild frontier.
Hey, girl, I'm not judging. Live your best whore life.
The reason I butted in, Miss Kitty, is I heard you talking about those people losing their home. I don't know this fellow Blake. He's never done any business over at my table.
No, I don't think he's ever been in here.
So, safe to say you haven't slept with him?
I don't know if this will make sense, but the thing is, I left home when I was 10 years old, and I've been drifting ever since. When I see someone like this Blake that sticks it out and works and fights, and then gets a raw deal, well, what I'm getting at, here's $50, if that'll help him any.
Is that how much he paid you?
No.
More?
No.
Less? Girl, value yourself.
Well, this is awful decent of you, Jack.
Matt, you said yourself that nearly everyone in town is afraid of Caleb.
Yeah?
Well, there's some who aren't, like Jack here, and me, and the rest of the dealers, and the gamblers, and the bartenders.
So basically all of your clients.
Because we're drifters. We got nothing to lose. Matt, I'll raise $420 right here on the Texas Trail.
I'll take you for a spin for $50.
By collecting donations.
You know, Kitty, I think you could.
Well, I can't do as well as Jack, but here's 20 from me. Boys, everybody, now listen to me for a minute. I got something to say.
Aw, Hollywood loves a whore with a heart of gold. He's sure taking forever getting here.
You tired?
The only thing you have to do around here is play checkers. Since I'm not 8, yeah, I'm tired and bored and want to go to bed.
We left him a message. That ought to bring him on the run, if anything will. Anytime Caleb figures he's about to lose $1 or two, it's hitting him where it hurts.
I liked it better when you actually did hit him where it hurts.
Marshall, what's this all about?
Shut the door, Caleb. We're trying to keep it warm in here.
Would you mind telling me why I've been called over here at this time of night?
Yeah, sure. Here's $420. The Blakes want to pay off the mortgage.
They do they?
The court costs up to now probably run about $10. Madison and I will pay that ourselves.
Can you cover it now and I pay you back through Venmo?
That's mighty generous of you.
Is it a deal, then?
I am not the least bit interested in having that mortgage paid off, Marshall Dillon. The Blake farm is worth about $2,000 now, and in 5 years, it'll be worth 3 times that much. Land's going up in Ford County. That's why I'm grabbing every piece I can get. So I don't want the money. I want the farm. And when it's put up for sale, I'll get it at my own price. The foreclosure still goes.
I see.
Douche nozzle!
Good night, Marshall. Madison.
That went about as well as the time I tried to get Kyle Thompson's attention in gym class by twerking, and just as he looked, someone smacked my butt with a volleyball.
I don't know why I even thought he'd take the money.
The ball bounced up in the air and hit the basketball hoop.
The Blakes won't get a cent out of the sale.
My ass scored 2 points.
He'll scare everybody off and bid it in a few dollars over the amount of the mortgage, and nobody in town will even try to bid against it. Wait a minute. I got an idea.
Great! This is the part where we get a posse together and deputize everyone with rifles and pitchforks and torches and stuff and go confront the bastard, taking him dead or alive, right?
I'm going over and wake up Clem Rogers.
Clem? The bank dude? No offense, but he looks pretty soft. I'm thinking you need to go round up some of those saloon guys.
If my idea works, we'll hold a sale at noon tomorrow.
A sale? What, like a bake sale so we could save the farm with brownies? I could go for some brownies.
We're gonna hold an auction.
Ooh, like a bachelor auction but with hunky cowboys? Count me in.
Okay.
All right, everybody, let me have your attention. I need all of the sexy cowboys to come up front.
What Madison means is this is a foreclosure sale of the property and household effects of Edward and Gertrude Blake.
But I'm still requesting all of the sexy cowboys come up front.
This auction, ordered by the court at the request of that fine-spirited, good-hearted public benefactor and friend and neighbor of us all, Caleb Andrews.
Subtle, Matt. Real subtle.
Marshal Dillon, I refuse to tolerate that.
Caleb, I think we better get one thing straight right now. The law tells me I gotta conduct this sale, but the law doesn't tell me what I gotta say while I'm conducting it.
Ooh, snap.
Get on with it.
All right. Now, the first item I'm offering is a breadboard. Ms. Blake tells me she's used this for nearly 10 years. I doubt it'd be worth much to anybody. Suppose we started at 50 cents. Is there anybody here who bids 50 cents for Mrs. Blake's breadboard?
Sexy cowboys would definitely go for more than 50 cents.
How about you, Caleb?
I'm not interested in the item. Get on with the sale.
Anybody else? No? All right, then. The second item is a crib. Now, you'll notice it's handmade. Ed built it himself 11 years ago, just before Jimmy was born.
Marshal Dillon, may I suggest you lump the household effects together and offer them as one bulk item?
I'm sorry, Caleb. I'd rather offer them one at a time. Unless, of course, you'd care to waive all claim to the household effects and withdraw them from the order of foreclosure.
I waive the claim. The household goods are withdrawn. Now get on to the house and land.
So ordered.
Ooh, I see what you did there, Matt. Nice.
Now, the item offered is 160 acres of tillable land, a 4-room house, and a barn. The amount of the mortgage is $420, held by Caleb Andrews. All right, the bidding's open. What am I offered?
$450.
Douche nozzle.
I have $450 from Caleb Andrews. Do I hear another bid? Now, the farm's worth $2,000. Are you going to let him have it for $450? How about another bidder?
That sounds like my cue. Marshal Dillon, I've been thinking about getting a place of my own and settling down.
And
and I bid $1,000.
I have $1,000. Do I hear another bid?
It's a trick. A unmarried woman can't own property.
What in the name of the ERA are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true, but...
That's true? No wonder Miss Kitty has to whore it up.
So she can't bid.
But Madison is engaged. She's speaking on behalf of her fiancé.
Fiancé? Is this in the rewrites? I didn't get the rewrites.
Yes, your fiancé, Clem Rogers.
Oh! The stringy old bank dude?
$1,000 going once.
$1,200.
Caleb Andrews bids $1,200. What do you say, Madison?
I say, any of you sexy cowboys unattached?
No more bids? Madison?
I have no idea which version of the script you're using.
Mr. Andrews has bid $1,200.
Congrats to him. At least he's not getting married off to some ratchet old bank creep.
Do you have a counterbid, Madison? Say $1,500?
Yeah, whatever.
What's going on here?
The bid is $1,500. Going once, going twice.
$1,600.
$1,600 from Mr. Andrews. Madison?
Bank dude's gotta be like 40. Why do they always cast super old guys with hot young chicks?
Madison, how much money are you holding there?
Huh? Oh, $8,420.
The bid is $8,420.
Oh! I bet she's never had that much money in her whole life.
Not true. There was that one summer in college when I told my parents I was going to study abroad, but instead took the money and went on a Jamaican cruise.
Do I hear another bid? Well, what do you say, Caleb?
Do you think I'm a fool?
I do.
Going once, going twice. Sold to Madison Standish for $8,420. The buyer will come forward and complete the sale.
There you go. $8,420. Second, Caleb.
Caleb, I guess $420 of this is yours, and that takes care of the mortgage. Well, Ed, looks like you made a pretty fair profit on the place.
Yeah, a lot better than I expected.
Here's your money.
Thank you, Matt. But I tell you, I'd still rather have the farm than the money.
You'd still rather have the farm, you say? Madison?
My line? I don't want the farm after all. I guess I'll just be happy living off of my old bank dude husband's salary. So if you want to buy it, Ed, I'll take a $420 loss and sell it back to you for $8,000.
Done. Here's your money.
This is unheard of. They can't do that, Marshal.
Well, as far as I know, there's no law against someone selling their own property, Caleb.
Now, the way I see it, Mr. Andrews, you're a trespasser on my property. Come on, let's go.
Let go of me, Blake. Who do you think you're manhandling?
Madison, you better get that $8,000 back to the bank. Clem Rogers is probably worrying himself into a breakdown for fear somebody'd find out that he let us borrow it.
I can't believe you cast me opposite Clem. My agent's gonna hear about this.
The important part is that we got the farm back to the Blakes.
Why couldn't you have made one of those cowboys my fiancé? That one in the blue bandana was totes hot.
You mean Pedro?
That's Pedro? Damn! Later, lawman. Hey, Pedro, hold up a sec. Gunsmoke first aired on radio in 1952. While most westerns of its era, both on radio and film, were geared towards kids, Gunsmoke gave the Old West adult themes and characters. Its popularity carried over to a long-running television series which reached into the mid-1970s. Today, Marshal Dillon remains a symbol of all iconic lawkeepers of the American Old West. Okay, before the announcer dude reads the credits, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to my show. I would totes appreciate a review. And hey, let me know which old-timey radio shows are your favorites. I'll let your comments determine my next adventure.
Madison on the Air was written and produced by Chrissy Talon Sage, with music composition and audio engineering by Jeremy Sage. The role of Madison Standish was played by Chrissy Talon Sage. Bran Peacock appeared as Marshal Matt Dillon. Additional actors in the cast were Steve Junn as Caleb, Alexandra Bartley as Kitty, Steppy Kume as Jimmy, Kitten McCleary as Gertie, Pete Navis as Ed, and Jeremy Sage as Jack. I've been your announcer, Tom O'Connor, also appearing in the role of Clem.
Now Madison was working super hard on a makeup tutorial show. She was teaching smoky eyes to folks out there who really wanted to know when some freaky deaky science stuff only understood by nerds zapped her into old radio shows, the kind you might never have heard. Now she should probably be trying to get out, but Madison, she's having fun living an old-time radio life. Our explanation is done.
Madison is on the air.
Tales of the Texas Rangers. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles, and 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America.
Okay, so before Chuck Norris, there was Tales of the Texas Rangers.
Now from the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons.
The show is basically as if someone listened to Dragnet and was like, you know what this show needs? Horses.
Case for tonight, Blood Trail.
Oh, that's me. Gotta go. Enjoy!
It is 7:30 on a Saturday evening in July 1929. For a week, an oppressive blanket of heat has surrounded the town of Whitney in the Texas Panhandle. Despite the unpleasant weather, however, Whitney is enjoying its usual Saturday night activities. Sheriff Madison Standish strolls down Main Street, complaining aloud to no one in particular.
Texas in a heat wave? Ugh. Are none of these old-timey shows set at a beach resort in the Bahamas? God, I could go for a Mai Tai.
Mildred, you are as stubborn as a mule. I declare, that woman will... Oh, howdy, Sheriff.
OMG, Harriet, what is the problem now? And please tell me it's not about kids karate chopping your picket fence again. The parents got really PO'd when I put those 8-year-olds in jail.
Ah, it's nothing, Sheriff. Just an argument with Mildred.
You two are besties. It's totes fine to fight. Unless one of you is accused of arson and the other one throws you under the bus just because you went on one little date with her boyfriend and barely made out with him.
Well, it's just, you see, I've been living here in Whitney near 40 years now. Been around the Panhandle all my life.
Oh, and she told you how pathetic that was?
No. I said this is the hottest July since '02, and Mildred says it was hotter the summer of 18.
Yeah, you see, that's why it's pathetic. You're arguing about the weather. You two need to get lives. Or laid, or something.
Hey, who's that over there, Sheriff?
Ah, man. Looks like a drunk.
Wait a sec. Ain't that old Doc Thomas? I didn't know Doc was a drinking man.
Well, how can anyone not enjoy a satisfying glass of Aviation American Gin? Great straight, or in any number of tasty cocktail recipes.
What are you talking about, Sheriff?
I'm trying to kiss Ryan Reynolds' ass so he'll come on the show. Shut up. Please drink responsibly.
Well, I can't believe that Doc would be drinking. He's got office hours till 7 on Saturdays.
He's stumbling into the street. Oh, man. The way you yokels drive, somebody's gonna hit him. Come on.
Look out, Doc! Look out!
Stop, you stupid drunk!
Careful, Doc.
Look out!
Look out!
Doc's been hit.
Help him.
Is he all right?
He's hurt bad.
Oh, dude. Look at all that blood. Oh, I think I'm gonna puke.
Do something. Quick, somebody help him.
Sheriff, help him.
Sheriff, do something.
I am doing something. I'm working on not puking.
One of y'all call Doc Fields and tell him to hurry.
I'll do it, Harriet.
Let's get him up on the sidewalk.
Yeah, you guys get him out of the street. I'll, walk down to the end of the block and direct traffic.
Sheriff!
Man, you'd think after all the true crime shows I've watched, I'd be desensitized to blood.
So much blood. I didn't think that car hit him that bad.
I don't think it did, actually. Look at his shirt. It's soaked like it's been bleeding for a while.
You mean when he was staggering down the street, he was already hurt?
Yeah, check out his head. Ew, is that skull showing? Okay, puking is imminent.
Who would do that to old Doc Thomas?
Dunno. And he's not gonna tell us. Dude's dead. And his eye just ruptured. Excuse me.
Once Sheriff Madison finished vacating her stomach alongside a parked Studebaker, she easily traced Doc Thomas's path by following the drops of blood he'd left on the sidewalk. The trail led her directly to the doctor's office. It was then she called for a Texas Ranger, and Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned. The Ranger didn't arrive until 5 o'clock that Sunday morning. He entered the doctor's office waiting room.
Sheriff? It's Ranger Pearson. Sheriff?
Huh?
You called for a Texas Ranger?
Oh, yeah. Crime scene's in there. Help yourself.
I'm here to assist in the investigation.
Sure. Okay.
Sheriff, perhaps you'd like to share with me your findings so far?
Dude, it's 5 a.m. I called you at like 8.
Sorry I couldn't get here sooner. I was in Wichita Falls.
Did you at least grab us some coffee and donuts? I prefer chocolate frosted, but right now I'm not going to be picky.
No, I didn't. Well, why don't you show me the crime scene and afterwards we can have breakfast?
Ugh, okay. I puked up most of my dinner last night, so I'm totally starving right now. As you can see, nothing in the waiting room except a really uncomfortable couch. Oh, my neck is going to be so stiff today. But the big show is in the exam room.
Ah, I see. Smashed furniture, broken glass. Doctor must have put up quite a fight.
Looks like he was trying to paint the walls with his own blood.
Do you know what the actual cause of death was?
Brain matter meets skull fragments?
Didn't he have a nurse here with him?
Nah, he couldn't afford one. He was a total old-school country doctor. He got paid in, like, pies and live chickens and stuff.
Did he have any money on him when he died?
About half a dozen eggs.
Well, the phone's been ripped out. Looks like he was trying to call somebody.
Ah, man. And with a rotary phone, it would have taken him epic long just to dial. And you guys don't have 911 yet. So he'd have to patch through to an operator who'd have to connect him to an exchange. It probably would have been faster for him to open a window and yell.
By the way the wires are torn out of the wall and the destruction of this room, I'd say somebody wanted to silence him permanently.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to kill the doc, why didn't they? He was stumbling down the street like a freshman leaving their first frat party.
I think this will answer your question, Sheriff.
You're pointing at blood. This room looks like the interior design was done by John Carpenter. You're gonna have to give me a little more than that.
Now, this spot of dry blood is larger, as if he must have been lying here a few minutes. Could be he got knocked unconscious, killer thought he'd finished his job, and took off.
That really shows the incompetence of the killer. A doctor's office full of sharp objects, and you don't stop and stab before you go? There's just no work ethic anymore.
Here's the doc's appointment book. Only one appointment after 5 o'clock. 6:30, Carl Hinkle. You know him, Sheriff?
Oh, yeah, I know him. German dude. I remember because I thought it was suspicious that a German guy was living with rednecks in Texas. Like he might be a Nazi war criminal or something? But then I remembered it's only 1929, so no World War II yet.
World War II?
Oh, don't worry about that. It's 1929, you got time. But I would sell your stocks before October.
So, you know this Carl Hinkle?
Oh, dude, yes, I totes forgot. Carl Hinkle's wife. The doctor delivered her baby about 6 weeks ago, and then Mrs. Hinkle died. Too bad she didn't call the midwife. I bet those super liberal nuns from England could have saved her.
Hinkle blamed Doc Thomas for his wife's death?
Yep, he's been talking smack about the doc all over town.
I see. Come on, Sheriff, let's wake him up and have a talk with him.
After breakfast.
This investigation is urgent. Time is of the essence.
Yeah, well, then maybe the next time I call for a Texas Ranger, it won't take you like 9 hours to get here. Come on, cowboy, you're buying.
After taking up valuable investigation time to stop for donuts, Ranger Pearson and Sheriff Madison finally reached Carl Hinkle's home at 6:30 a.m. No one answered their knock, so they walked around to the back door. Hinkle was washing some things out in a laundry tub on the back porch. He was a big, blond man who looked at his visitors solidly as they approached.
Wow, no wonder it took you 9 hours to get here. What's that 1920s car of yours have, a golf cart motor?
Morning, Sheriff Madison.
Carl, this is Ranger Pearson. He wants to talk to you. Oh, and we brought donuts. I ate all the chocolate frosted.
Thank you. I have eaten. Excuse me a moment. I want to dry my hands.
Pretty early to be doing washing, isn't it, Mr. Hinkle?
Yeah, I wash for the baby.
Some of your own clothes there, too, aren't there?
Yes. I wash for myself, too.
You always do the baby clothes yourself, Carl?
Dude, inappropriate. His wife is dead.
Mr. Hinkle.
So what, a man can't do his own laundry? Should he get his 6-week-old daughter to do it because it's women's work?
Mr. Hinkle.
I suppose you find it weird there's a female sheriff, right? I was wondering how long you were going to dance around the subject.
Mr. Hinkle.
They voted for me, you know. The whole town of Whitney. They voted me their sheriff. Right, Carl?
It's true. We saw her name on the ballot and never before we heard of a woman named Madison, so we thought she was a man.
Oh, shut up, you murderer.
Murderer?
Dr. Thomas was murdered in his office last night, Mr. Hinkle, and you were the last appointment in his appointment book. So, did you visit Doc Thomas last night?
Well, yes, I did. I owe him money, so I go to repay him. Every week I pay a little.
Do you usually make an appointment just to pay him money?
No. I have an ache in my leg. I asked the doctor to fix it.
Yeah, but he killed your wife, so you killed him.
Nein, it is not so. I just think he should have been more careful with my wife. Now I'm left with an empty house and an empty heart. If he'd been more careful, this wouldn't be.
If you felt the doctor was responsible for your wife's death, why would you seek medical help from a man you didn't trust?
To be fair, that's not up to him. That's up to his insurance company. The doctor could be an axe murderer selling organs on the black market, but hey, he's in network.
Well, I think with my wife he made the mistake. For this, he will be with me twice careful.
Do you know, Mr. Hinkle, that you were the last person to see the doctor before he was attacked?
Nein, I was not. When I come from the office, a man sits in the waiting room.
Hopefully not sitting on that couch. Man, I need a neck massage.
Do you know who the man was?
Yeah, sure. I've seen him many times. It was, Mr. Horner.
Do you know this Mr. Horner, Sheriff?
Yeah, Matt Horner, right? He works on Jim Ford's ranch. He's a, oh man, you're gonna make me say it. He's a, cowpoke.
A cowpoke on Jim Ford's ranch. Oh, well, Sheriff, I think we ought to go see him.
I know it gets lonely on the range, but I can't believe it's actually a job title.
Ranger Pearson and Sheriff Madison drove out to the Ford Ranch. The trip took longer than it should have because the sheriff didn't know where it was and kept on blaming the GPS. The Ford Ranch was a small place that had seen better days. A young ranch hand was mending a fence near the barn.
Howdy. You Jim Ford's cowhand?
They do hand jobs too?
Oh, howdy there, Ranger. Sheriff.
We're looking for Matt Horner. You seen him?
Well, I'm sorry, Ranger. I only come to work for Mr. Ford yesterday. I know there's one man who works with him, but I don't know his name.
Is Mr. Ford around?
I think he's with the cattle.
Oh, those poor cows. Hashtag me moo.
I expect Mr. Ford's gonna be here any minute now, but I don't think that other fella is with him.
No? And why is that?
Please don't tell me you also have hogs. A pig and a poke.
See, Ranger, when I come in this morning to get me a coffee, he ain't here. Then when Mr. Ford go out to the car, he still ain't here. Made Mr. Ford mighty angry. Oh, here's Mr. Ford. He'll tell you about that fella.
Howdy, Sheriff. Morning, Ranger. Take care of the horse, eh, Lester?
Right away, sir.
What can I do for you?
Nothing, until I could get the ASPCA out here.
We're looking for that hand of yours, Matt Horner.
Well, I reckon that makes 3 of us. When I find him, I'm gonna break him in half. All these years, and he walks out on me just when I need him most.
I hear that. Most of my boyfriends break up with me just before the rent is due.
When did you see him last, Mr. Ford?
Yesterday evening. He asked me if he could go into town, and I said sure, if he'd be back here by daybreak. This morning, he ain't showed up. I don't reckon he will, neither.
What makes you think that?
I checked, and all his stuff's gone.
Yup, same. I wake up on the 1st, and their underwear and Xbox are gone.
After all I did for that boy, Matt Horner. Now, when I only need him a day or so longer, he takes off.
You moving somewhere, Mr. Ford?
Yeah, I usually had to move out by the 5th or else face a super pissed off landlord. My mom could be a real hard ass.
I'm selling out, Ranger. Lock, stock, and barrel. I've had all I want of ranching.
When Matt Horner left you yesterday, was he sick?
Sick? That boy never had a sick day in his life.
You made him an independent contractor, didn't you? All the joys of working full-time with 0 of the benefits.
Here, how come you're so anxious to find out about Matt?
A doctor in town by the name of Thomas was murdered last night.
Oh, yeah. I heard about old Doc Thomas. Shame. He was a fine feller. What's that got to do with Matt?
He was seen at the doc's office last night around the time the doctor was murdered.
Of course, I'm sure you didn't give Matt any health care, so he probably couldn't afford the doctor's visit.
You think Matt was the one who killed him?
We don't know yet, but his skipping out is not going to help him any.
No, I don't reckon it will. You just never know, do you? And who'd have thought? The boy I had working for me was a killer.
You better start paying that Lester a living wage, or he may be next. There's a breaking point for everyone, you know. And this is Texas. Your essential workers carry guns.
On the way back to town, Jace radioed Austin and requested an all-points bulletin on Matt Horner. Then he and Sheriff Madison started combing the countryside, but to no avail. The sheriff complained relentlessly about the heat all day, as if her disapproval of the weather would somehow make a difference. Early Monday morning, Ranger Pearson stopped at the sheriff's office to pick her up.
Morning, Sheriff. Sheriff? Sheriff?
Huh? What?
I took the liberty of bringing coffee and donuts.
Oh? I'm hating you less today, Ranger.
Pleased to hear it. You about ready to get moving?
You know, I haven't brushed my teeth since Saturday morning. Can you give me, 2 minutes?
Since we'll be sharing a car together all day today, happy to wait.
Damn it. Hang on a sec. Hello, Sheriff Standish. No, Madison's my first name. Yes, it is. Yes, it... why are you calling me? You did? Where? Yep, we're on our way. Well, Matt Horner's been found.
Good. They bring him in?
Nope. We gotta go get him. Dude's dead. Aw, no chocolate frosted?
In just a moment, we will continue with Tales of the Texas Rangers.
Presenting Canary P.I.N., a commercial spot, a J. Henry production.
Do you like mystery? Canary P.I. Intrigue? Canary P.I. Horror? Canary P.I. Peculiar short stories through the eyes of me, Canary, your neighborhood gumshoe, with a revolving cast of colorful characters and odd situations. Season 2 is a wrap, and our one-off special, The Dreaded Drive-In of Dog Island, is out now. Unserialized, so don't be afraid to jump in. Available wherever you get your audio drama podcasts. Your son's a Dracula and your wife's cheating on you? Why me?
We continue now with Tales of the Texas Rangers and our authentic story, Blood Trail. Matt Horner's body was discovered in the brush by two boys on a camping trip. Ranger Pearson and Sheriff Madison drove within a mile of the spot where the highway patrolman was waiting with the boys. The youngsters pointed out where they'd found the body. The only way to reach the remote area was on horseback. Sheriff Madison made it well known to all within earshot that she was in no way a fan of horses.
Oh God, are we there yet?
You could have ridden your own horse instead of squeezing into the saddle on mine. Would have been easier on charcoal, too. Sorry about this, Charky.
I'm really scared of horses, okay? Bad carousel incident. That's how we lost our first nanny. I can still hear the gears grinding and her screams. Her screams echo in my sleep.
Well, we're nearly there.
Ah! I'm slipping!
Ow! No, you're not. You're strapped to my belt and pulling it really tight.
Don't let go, Nanny! Don't let go!
We're here. Look, there's the 3 big boulders those kids described. Whoa, Sharky, whoa, whoa.
Get me off this thing!
It's all right, Sharky. I'll make sure she walks back. Come on, I'll help you down. You all right?
Lightly traumatized, but physically fine.
If you're not good with horses, maybe being a sheriff in Texas isn't the best job for you.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't stay working at an off-track betting place. Well, that and they fired me for stealing from the till.
Let's head over there. That must have been where the boys had their campfire, off to the left.
Every time I drive between LA and Vegas, I think about how many bodies must be dumped out there in the desert. I also think the same thing when I visit Disneyland.
Should be right around this middle boulder by what those kids said. There. Let me pull that brush away from him. Okay, Sheriff, that the man we've been looking for?
I think so? Hard to tell. He's all bloated and puffy and looks like buzzards were pecking at him. Oh, I might puke again.
Shot twice through the chest at close range by the look of those powder burns. Let's turn them over.
Pass.
You know, there are a lot of jobs in law enforcement that don't entail field work.
Duly noted.
Well, no blood on the ground, so he wasn't shot here. Whoever did it carried him out here after he was dead.
You think it was those 2 boys who did it?
The 10-year-olds?
I'm just saying, with all this desert out here, it's pretty convenient those 2 boys just happened to stumble upon the body while they were camping.
Let's see what we can find in his pockets. Wallet, a little bit of money, and... oh, well, this is interesting. A box of prescription pills.
Quaaludes?
No.
Hey, what do we really know about this Doc Thomas? I mean, he did kill Mrs. Hinkle.
This could mean Matt was ill after all.
And Jim Ford wouldn't give him a sick day. Typical boss. Do you know how many times I worked sick at my food service jobs because my managers threatened to fire me if I called out? It wasn't bats that spread COVID. It was shitty bosses.
It's a cinch there's a tie-in between this murder and Doc Thomas getting killed. We need to find out what kind of an ailment Matt had.
How exactly could we do that? Matt's dead, and it looks like some coyotes made a meal out of his fingers. Ew.
Well, there's another way he can do some talking even after his death.
Seance?
Autopsy.
Yeah, better to not dabble in the black arts. I tried that after my nanny died, and all it did was trap her inside my Malibu Barbie. It was creepy, so I had my brother blow her up with a bottle rocket.
Ranger Pearson and Sheriff Madison got Matt Horner's body into Whitney by 1 o'clock that afternoon and requested the county medical examiner make a rush autopsy. They waited in the pathology lab at the hospital until he was finished. Sheriff Madison was as fidgety as a toddler in a fine restaurant and equally as disciplined.
Sheriff, perhaps you shouldn't be touching all of those vials and test tubes.
I actually really like taking chem lab. I mean, what other class can you play with fire? Aside from English when we acted out the Crucible. My teacher was not expecting that level of realism.
Just the same, it'd probably be best to leave those two alone.
Is it bad I just breathed in some of that orange powder?
Well, I've been able to determine. Is that broken glass on the floor?
There really should be more safety protocols in here. It's only the 1920s. Well, after a ton more stupid people do stupid things, the government will require warnings about stuff that is totally common sense.
I suppose that explains why you were touching the test tubes.
You're welcome.
So, Doctor, tell us what you discovered about Matt Horner.
I only made a preliminary examination, but I can tell you one thing definitely.
Someone really ought to clean up this glass. It's clearly a safety hazard.
What can you tell us, Doctor?
Matt Horner died sometime Saturday night, probably before midnight.
That would have only been a few hours after Doc Thomas died.
You got a janitor we could call or something?
Perhaps you should just try and avoid stepping in the glass for now.
So, was Matt Horner sick?
Indeed. The boy was gravely ill. I observed a section of the dead man's spleen. It's very badly diseased.
Do you know what it was?
Anthrax.
Anthrax? I prefer Metallica. Specifically the Cliff Burton years.
Anthrax? But that's a cattle disease.
Also found in man. Contracted from sick stock or contaminated ground. Does that help you, Ranger?
Maybe. It might just clear up our whole case. Thanks, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Come on, Sheriff. We need to get out to Jim Ford's ranch.
See? You poke a cow enough times, and she'll seek revenge.
You're still stepping in the broken glass.
Yes, I am. So, how are we gonna know which cow killed him? Or do you think they all ganged up on him? Oh my God! It's Animal Farm! The barnyard animals have risen against their human masters!
I think what we're looking at here is some sick cattle, and it could explain why Jim was so anxious to sell his ranch all of a sudden.
Okay, wait. Wrapping my brain around this. So, Ford knew the cattle were sick, but he didn't want anyone else to know so he could sell them?
It's possible.
That's like when I tried to sell my Honda Civic and conveniently left out the 7 accidents I'd been in. 8 accidents! Whew! That auto body shop in Tijuana could work miracles.
Chances are Matt found out the cattle had anthrax, but didn't know he had it himself.
And that's why he went to see the doctor.
And once Doc Thomas knew there was anthrax around, he was bound to report it.
Then how did Jim Ford find out about Matt's diagnosis? Don't you people in the 1920s have doctor-patient privilege? Honestly, I have no idea what the medical field was like in the 20s. I half expected to find leeches in that lab.
However, Jim found out he might have killed both the doc and Matt to keep them quiet.
Do you think he's still at the ranch? What if he sold it already? How long is escrow in Texas?
We better hurry.
Ooh, be careful. This 1920s car might actually break 10 miles an hour.
Jim's old jalopy isn't here.
His car is a jalopy. That thing you call a cop car looks like you operated with pedals. Seriously, I get why you still have a horse.
Could mean he went into town. I doubt he'd try to make a getaway in that thing. Let's try this door.
Should I have a gun? This is really feeling like I should have a gun. But I was doing the whole Andy Griffith thing and not carrying one. But now I'm thinking maybe Barney was right.
I don't think anyone's here.
Not that I've ever used a gun. My brother did once. That's how we lost our second nanny.
Door's open. Looks like the bedroom's back this way.
He didn't shoot her or anything. She took it from him and then used it to rob a 7-Eleven. Apparently she was wanted in 3 states.
Doesn't appear like he's taken much with him if he's gone. But if he skipped out, he's probably traveling light. Sheriff, listen.
What is that horrible sound? Are they slaughtering the cows out back?
Sounds like that jalopy of his is coming up the road. Let's get outside. You want to take him alive. Don't shoot unless you have to, Sheriff.
Wait, there is gonna be shooting? I just told you I don't have a gun! How about I cower over here by this rain barrel?
Oh, that's not Jim at all. That's Lester.
Good thing. I was prepared to get him very wet. Actually, probably not. I doubt I could lift this thing.
Well, howdy, Ranger. Sheriff.
Where's Mr. Ford, Lester?
He just made himself a big sale on the ranch. Got a pretty penny for it.
Do you know where he's going?
Oh, I took him to the railroad depot so he could wait for the train.
Which train?
The one that goes that way.
South.
North.
I'd go south. Mexico? If your choice is Mexico or Nebraska, hola, amigos.
What time does the train leave Whitney?
4:32.
It's 4:15 now. Come on, Sheriff. We're gonna catch a train.
Get the horse. We're not gonna outrun a train in that car of yours. I told you, the train's leaving.
Come on.
What do you mean, come on? Are we seriously running to catch a train?
Hey, Porter. Don't close those doors.
Oh my god! This cliche is used in every movie with a freaking train. Can't we build suspense without so much running?
Grab onto that railing, Sheriff.
I hate you!
Made it.
Just so there's no confusion, I will not be leaping off of this train, climbing onto the roof of this train, or dangling from any part of this train. Is that understood?
Might not be up to me, Sheriff.
He's not in here.
Not this car. We'll try them all.
Ah, damn it. He better be on this stupid train. Ooh, is that a dining car? Dining cars in movies always look so luxurious. Then I took Amtrak, and it was one wobbly table and a $6 can of Coke. Oh, damn! It smells good. Traveling used to be so elegant. Now the highlight of a trip is guessing which redneck is gonna get drunk and force us to land in Wichita.
Well, looks like Jim Ford got hungry.
Oh, dude, that's him. His back is to us. What do we do? I still don't have a gun, but I might have some glass shards in my shoe.
Let's talk to him first. Sit down at his table. Oh. Howdy, Jim.
Sup?
What?
Mind if we join you, Mr. Ford?
No, please, sit down. I didn't know you two were traveling north.
South really is a better choice.
We, heard you sold the ranch.
Well, word sure does get around, don't it? Yep, I sold my ranch like I said I was gonna do.
How much did you get for the sick cows?
What are you talking about, Sheriff?
Matt Horner had anthrax. He got it from your cattle.
Why, you're crazy.
Not as crazy as you thinking you can get away with killing Doc Thomas and Matt Horner.
Can you prove that, Ranger?
Has anyone ever asked a cop, can you prove it, when they weren't guilty?
Oh, I think we can prove it. And we'll start with this.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just taking the gun out of your shoulder holster. It was so big I couldn't miss it.
Ooh, can I have it?
No.
Well, Ranger, you got my gun, but you still can't prove nothing.
I won't have to. I've got a ballistics lab for that. And while we're waiting for the lab report, you'll cool your heels in jail.
On what charge? You can't hold me until you get some proof.
Another thing guilty people always say. Like, duh, the cops know the rules. Are you saying you can't hold me? Like the cop is gonna be all, OMG, I totes forgot. I guess you got me.
We'll hold you for carrying a concealed weapon in a public place.
Hello, Texas? In my day, the permitless carry legislation literally says anyone can carry a concealed or holstered handgun in public places without a license, safety training, or background check as long as they're over 21. Dead serious, September 2021. I vote we move South by Southwest to Oklahoma. Hands, please.
Oh, what is she saying?
I'm saying you're about 100 years too early to take advantage of the Texas gun nut laws.
Why, you...
Ah! Ranger, get him!
She's pulling my hair! Oh.
He's running to the other end of the car!
I can't fire. There are too many people.
Oh, I swear to God if he goes up on that frickin' roof!
The crowd is slowing him down. I got him.
Let me go!
Take it easy, Ford. You'll get off this train soon enough. Then you'll take another little trip that ends in Huntsville.
Huntsville? Fun fact, the Huntsville prison opened in 1849 and has conducted all of the executions in the state of Texas from then to modern day.
Yes, that's why I mentioned it.
Ah, Texas. Loose gun laws, severe death penalty laws. I'd say the Old West will never die, but chances are it'll be shot or put to death.
And now, here are the results of the case you have just heard. Ballistics evidence proved conclusively that Jim Ford had killed Matt Horner. He was tried and convicted of first-degree murder. 10 months later, he confessed to the killing of Doc Thomas with a paperweight from the doctor's office desk. Jim Ford died in Huntsville Penitentiary of a kidney disease on June 17, 1930, just 20 days before he was due to go to the electric chair. Sheriff Madison resigned as the sheriff of Whitney due to her inability to ride a horse, lack of gun experience, a completely fabricated resume describing her years as a Beverly Hills cop, and finally, after releasing a ranch full of cattle to face their abusers, at which time they stampeded through downtown Main Street, causing thousands in property damage.
The radio drama Tales of the Texas Rangers ran from 1950 through 1952 on NBC, with Ranger Jace Pearson played by the well-known movie star of the era, Joel McCrea. McCrea was actually a real-life rancher. With the money he'd made in Hollywood, McCrea bought a ranch in what is now known as Thousand Oaks, California, about an hour drive from Hollywood, in a modern-day car, where he actively worked his ranch that produced 200,000 pounds of beef each year. McCrea was known for saying ranching was his occupation and acting his hobby. Hey everybody, it's Madison. Thank you so much for listening. Have you signed up yet for our free e-newsletter? There's a ton of not found anywhere else Madison stuff. Sign up on our website, madisonontheair.com. And also, a big thanks to everyone who is helping with our campaign to get Ryan Reynolds on this show. Every day, I'm tweeting to @VanCityReynolds, #RyanOnMadison. Help me by retweeting, and maybe he'll join us. Hey, weirder things have happened. Okay, announcer dude, roll the credits.
Madison on the Air was written and produced by Chrissy Talon Sage, with music composition and audio engineering by Jeremy Sage. The role of Madison Standish was played by Chrissy Talon Sage. Jerry Kokich appeared as Ranger Jace Pearson. Other actors in the cast were Matthew Bird as Jim Ford, Steve Junn as Lester, Sharon Grunwald as Harriet, Kareem Confley as Carl Hinkle, Paul Arabisi as the medical examiner, and Jonathan Winstead as the narrator. Now Madison was working super hard on a makeup tutorial show. She was teaching smoky eyes to folks out there who really wanted to know when some freaky deaky science stuff only understood by nerds zapped her into old radio shows, the kind you might never have heard. Now she should probably be trying to get out, but Madison, she's having fun, living an old-time radio life. Our explanation is done.
Madison is on the air.
Hi-yo, Silver! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-ho Silver, the Lone Ranger! with his faithful Indian companion Tonto. The daring and resourceful masked rider from the plains lead the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Hi-yo, Silver! Let's go, big fella! Hi-yo, Silver!
The little town of Cottonwood was booming ever since an Eastern land company had decided to build a dam on Snake River a few months ago. Hundreds of working men were making Cottonwood their new home. Consequently, the daily arrival of a stagecoach loaded with passengers was no novelty.
Cottonwood. This is Cottonwood. Everybody out.
Where's the land office where they do the hiring?
I wonder what kind of wages that job is paying.
The last two people to step from the coach asked no questions. Fletcher Cobb was short, heavy-set with a round moon-like face that was creased with a perpetual smile.
Well, well, Cottonwood is a thriving little communal. I'm pleasantly surprised.
In contrast, Cobb's companion was a petite blonde who surveyed her surroundings with contempt. She struggled against her many petticoats as if they had a personal vendetta against her.
Why do I have so many damn skirts? Damn! Well, great. You're gonna have to pick up my bag for me because with this corset, I can't bend at the waist.
Yes, with that corset you needed 2 seats on the train. You haven't lifted your own bag since St. Louis, and you insisted it made you more sensitive to whistling.
Oh, like everybody on that stagecoach didn't secretly thank me for shutting down that whistling dude?
He was a mute. That's how he communicated.
He was annoying.
Well, we're here now, and it's better than I could have imagined.
I was imagining Branson, Missouri, and this place still manages to fall short.
The town is booming, Madison. Everybody's working at the big dam over by Snake River.
I think the Brady Bunch got lost here on their way to the Grand Canyon.
Don't you realize that big construction projects mean big payrolls? And big payrolls mean money in the bank. You see those handbills they got plastered on every post? Look here.
I really don't care. I only came because my intel told me the Lone Ranger was last seen around this area.
Oh yes, that masked man you keep talking about. Now look what this handbill says. The Empire Construction Company has hundreds of good jobs for carpenters, stonemasons, and mule skinners.
Mule what? They're skinning freaking Eeyore? Tigger realized he'd crossed a line, but there was no bouncing back.
It says they pay high salaries, and that's what most interests me. Come on, our next step is to find Jeff Nichols' store.
It's right there, next to the bank.
Why, that sure is the bank. Smack right up against Nichols Mercantile, and the only bank in town. Let's, go say hi to my old friend, Jeff Nichols.
I know I said I'd assist you, but how long is this gonna take?
What's with you and that masked man? He run out on you or something?
As if. So not my type. The cast of Young Guns, though. I'd like to get every one of those cowboys in my who's gal.
Then why are you trying to track him down?
I'm here to emancipate Tonto from his horrible stereotype.
Well, you still got a job to do for me first. After all, the money I spent on that stagecoach ticket for you wasn't chicken feed.
I don't know what you people use for currency in the Old West, but chicken feed sounds more reliable than Bitcoin.
My. This is certainly a well-stocked establishment, I must say. Canned goods, dry goods, farm implements, clothing.
Yeah, it's a regular Old West Walmart. They just need a giant woman wearing a Confederate flag tube top dragging around a 4-year-old in a mullet who looks like he shaves.
Madison, notice those axe handles over there in the corner, stacked alongside the picks and shovels?
I was more noticing the lack of a feminine hygiene aisle.
Remember those axe handles. Yes, sir. I couldn't have arranged things any better if I'd done it myself. I wonder where the proprietor is.
If he's like me when I work register, he's hiding in the break room hoping the customers will get tired of waiting and leave.
A whole stack of those handbills on the counter. Evidently, the Empire Construction Company believes in widespread advertising.
That's 1800 spam is what that is.
Afternoon, folks. I was in the back of the storeroom sacking some spuds. I guess I didn't hear you come in. What can I do for you?
Several things, Mr. Nichols.
What do you got along the lines of ladies' undergarments? I'm not doing a whole episode in this corset. I think I gotta get a few ribs removed for this stupid thing to fit comfortably.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're the first lady to come to Cottonwood. What with it all being men working up at the Snake River Dam.
Madison, I'm trying to speak to Mr. Nichols. Why don't you go occupy yourself by looking at the canned goods?
Farm to can. Tasty.
Well, you know my name. Guess I ought to know you. But I can't seem to place...
Don't tell me you don't remember your old friend Fletcher Cobb.
Fletcher Cobb. What are you doing here in Cottonwood? I thought you were, well...
Still a house guest of the law in that Eastern penitentiary?
Yeah.
No, that's ancient history, Jeff. I was paroled about a year after you got out.
I wasn't paroled. I was released. I completed my sentence and became
an honest, upright citizen. Came out west and founded a business.
Anything wrong with that?
No, of course not. When I heard about your store here in Cottonwood, I was gratified, pleased. I congratulate you, Jeff.
Listen, you and that lady friend of yours better get out of here.
Okay, that is a hazard.
All right, Jeff. This is a Colt 45 nudging your ribs.
What do you want?
Oh, not much. Just a slight favor.
You don't carry bras, but you got canned oysters?
I've got friends in this town. Real friends. They know all about my past life, and so does the sheriff.
You're selling an aphrodisiac in a town full of only men? Is this Cottonwood or Old West Hollywood?
I believe you delivered supplies to the construction camp up at the dam, don't you?
I drive my wagon up there once or twice a week.
Splendid. And I noticed that your storeroom is right next to the bank. Madison and I would like to rent that storeroom for a few days.
Why would we rent a storeroom? Are you cheaping out on getting us a hotel room? Like my ex who wanted to go camping at the beach? He said he thought it would be romantic. Yeah, you know what's romantic? Sleeping in a room with walls that weren't made by the same company that puts out beer coolers.
Rent my storeroom? What do you want it for? Oh, I see. Well, the answer is no, you sneaking coyotes. Think that I'm going to help you?
Oh, it seems you have a customer, Jeff. You'll walk up there and wait on that customer, but me and my 45 will be walking right next to you. Understand?
Yeah, Fletch.
Are we holding up the store or something?
No, of course not.
I mean, I don't mind being an outlaw. They're always so hot and sexy. I just like some advanced warning. It affects my wardrobe choices.
It, looks like it's an engine.
An engine? What do you mean, like a car engine? You don't have cars yet. Or at least you better not, after I spent 3 days in that sweatbox of a stagecoach.
Hello there, engine.
It's Tonto! Oh, dude, you meant not a car engine, a Native American... Oh, this is why I'm here!
What can I do for you?
Me, Tonto. Me want buy bacon, coffee.
You think it's gonna be bad, but then you hear it in person, and you instantly feel guilty for every time you head off for Columbus Day.
Bacon and coffee. Why, sure, engine.
He told you his name is Tonto. At least call him Tonto.
Tonto. I'll get it for you right away. Bacon's back here.
Why, Mr. Nichols, you might have some trouble finding a stock of bacon. I think I'll just go along with you to help out.
Yeah, all right then.
Okay, dude, Tonto, we gotta get you out of here.
What do you mean?
This horrible stereotype of Native Americans. It's got to be stopped. Come with me if you want to live, free of misrepresentation.
You speak in strange tongue.
Oh my God, look, this is how they wrote you. It's not your fault, but we can make this right.
Well, here's your bacon in Tonto, and a bag of coffee.
Money. Pay. There.
All right, Mr. Nichols. Now that you're finished with one customer, you can take care of us.
Me go now.
Wait!
I better wrap that slab of bacon for you. It's mighty dusty outside. Here, let me wrap it.
Tonto, don't leave. I can help you.
There you are, Tonto. That'll keep the dust away.
At last he's gone.
Damn it! This is gonna be harder than I thought.
You skunks ain't gonna get away with this.
I guess we can't argue with him. Madison, the axe handle is the only way.
What?
Hand me that axe handle, won't you?
I think the trouble is, he's been written that way for so long, he doesn't realize something's wrong.
What are you gonna do, Fletch?
I asked for your cooperation, Jeff, but you insist upon being obstinate. Madison, the axe handle, if you please.
Yeah, here. I think I'm gonna have to do something directly about the Lone Ranger. But what?
Sorry, Jeff.
No, Fletch, no!
Madison, mind the front of the store while I drag him to the back.
Yeah, sure, okay. I gotta find some way to get rid of the Lone Ranger. Ooh, now I do sound like an Old West outlaw. But I'm a good guy, bad guy. Like Doc Holliday. I'm your huckleberry. I need a better catchphrase. Preferably one that doesn't involve fruit.
Whoa, Scout. Whoa, fella. Whoa, fella.
Did you get the supplies, Tonto? I have a fire started and some water boiling for coffee.
Me get 'em.
Fine. I'll slice the bacon, you make the coffee.
Me do it.
This seems like... Tonto, come here.
Huh? What matter?
Where did you buy this bacon?
Store. In Cottonwood.
From Jeff Nichols?
Yeah. You think it not good?
There's nothing wrong with the bacon. But look, it's wrapped in this piece of plain paper. And inside there's a single strip of newsprint, possibly torn from a handbill. See, it says, Help Wanted. Help Wanted, printed in big black letters. Of course, he might have wrapped it in there by accident. Was Jeff alone in the store when you were there, Tonto?
No. Other fella there. And woman.
A woman? In Cottonwood?
She make talk all time.
What did she talk about?
Make no sense, but act like she know Tonto.
Did you recognize her?
Never see before. Hope never see again.
And how did Jeff Nichols act? Scared and nervous?
Me not know.
Well, it'll be dark in a few minutes, and we can ride into Cottonwood without attracting any attention.
You think maybe something wrong?
I don't know, Tonto. Honest men like Jeff Nichols don't usually ask for help unless they need it.
And the woman?
She's definitely an odd piece to this puzzle.
Definite. Odd. Whoa, Scout.
Easy, Silver. Steady now.
Whoa, fella.
We'll leave the horses here, Tonto. Jeff Nichols' store is just around the corner.
Store closed now. Not see light.
That's all right. Jeff lives in the little room in the back. You knock on the door. Remember, if anyone but Jeff answers, do exactly as I told you. I'll stand to one side behind you.
You gonna get that?
Go ahead and open the door.
You get it. I don't want to get up.
Don't tell me it has to do with that corset, or I'll personally remove it.
I'd like to see you try with my knee in your crotch.
Yes? What is it? No, you're the redskin from this afternoon.
What did you say?
Me want to see Jeff Nichols.
Jeff isn't here.
Tonto! Oh, I'm so glad you came back.
You were expecting this redskin?
I hope you're referring to a football player from Washington who played prior to 2020. Although, the Commanders? Ugh, they phoned that one in.
Jeff no here? Where find him?
He drove up to the construction camp. He won't be back for several days.
Tonto, it's so great you're here. Now I can help you get away from that Lone Ranger dude.
Are you referring to me, miss?
Damn it! You brought him with you?
Masked. It's a holdup.
Not exactly. But tell me, miss, how did you know who I was?
Everybody knows the Lone Ranger. Even if they've never heard the radio show, seen the TV series, watched any of the movies or whatever, Your character permeates our human consciousness, along with the controversial portrayal of Tonto, which has been heatedly discussed as sensitivities to the wrongs bestowed upon the Native American community is brought more boldly into light.
You see what Tonto mean?
Yes, very odd indeed.
If you want to buy anything, you'll have to do it in the morning. We've closed for the night.
We're not looking to buy anything. We'd like to see Jeff Nichols, the owner of this store.
He's not here. I just told the Indian then.
His name's Tonto!
That's all right. We'll look around.
Wait just a minute. You can't barge in here.
Seems I already have. I need some light. Find a lantern, Tonto.
Tonto, that's my point! Native Americans in the Old West didn't just grunt all the time. They were bilingual. They spoke eloquently.
You speak enough for everyone.
Listen, stranger, I'm a patient man. Very patient. But I can't allow an outlaw to force his way in here.
A gun, eh? Oh, you've made a mistake.
Kimosare!
He's exploiting you!
Let go on pants!
No, you have to come with me!
All right, masked man. You've asked for it.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments.
In a world plagued by darkness and unexplainable phenomena that make humanity fear the unknown, a band of heroes will rise up to stop—
Sorry to interrupt you there, dramatic announcer guy, but I think you might be advertising the wrong story here.
I beg your pardon?
Now, don't get me wrong, the whole brooding intensity thing is super cool. I just don't think it's really true to our brand, you know?
Look, I don't know how you got in here, but all I was told was that I was promoting a podcast about a supernatural investigation agency dedicated to eliminating the eldritch horrors that aim to destroy this world and all life as we know it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we've really hit world-destroying levels of scary yet. We're really more local right now, but man, does our town have a lot of problems. I mean, we've got ghosts, witches, like at least 5 different kinds of giant monster.
Well, there, then. See? Maybe the threat isn't as wide-reaching as I let on, but it still requires a team of highly skilled and powerful agents, from a tough, capable leader with a dark and mysterious past, to ruthless, otherworldly creatures with a taste for blood and—
Whoa there, buddy! Now I know you've got your facts wrong. I mean, first of all, you clearly haven't met the people in charge of this operation if you think any of them are capable.
I don't
And
quite—
as for the ruthless, otherworldly creatures bit, our in-house vampire is the sweetest lady I know, so shut up!
But can I at least get to the part about the abominable fiend from hell?
Psh, if you think he's abominable now, you should see him first thing in the morning. I'm telling you, the other day, I think he came this close to saying an actual swear word.
How is that
I don't know why you're splitting hairs here, since you'd be crazy to call any of us qualified or, come to think of it, functional people.
Hey, just who do you think you are?
Somebody who's better at doing your job, for starters.
That's it. I'm out of here. Do your own promotional material for all I care.
I thought he'd never leave. So to recap here, if you want to hear a story about spooky but only kind of threatening myths and monsters and the totally incompetent people who deal with them, check out Heinous Investigations, coming March 10th, 2021, and available wherever you stream your podcasts. Did we get that? I think we got it. That's a wrap!
Now to continue our story. A fraction of a second after a bullet from Fletcher Cobb's .45 grazed his cheek, the Lone Ranger's guns were spitting flaming lead. But in the pitch darkness of an unlighted store, it was hard to aim accurately. And the ear-piercing screams of Miss Standish certainly didn't help.
Tonto!
Yeah, me here.
They're down behind the counter. Both of them. Watch it!
I've been shot.
Give me your gun.
You know how to shoot a gun?
Hell no. But you can't outshoot the Lone Ranger.
How do you know? I've done a fair amount of shooting in my day.
Dude, he's the lead on the show. The lead is always some sort of unbelievable superhero with a gun. So just give it to me.
We've got him trapped, Tonto.
He's about to make his move. Give me your damn gun.
Take it.
Help! Help! It's a holdup!
She shot the glass out of the window.
What's a ruckus?
Nickel store. There must be outlaws.
Gunfire noise. Bring plenty people.
They'll all be here in another minute. We'll have to figure out what happened to Jeff Nichols some other way. Our only chance now is to run for it. Come on!
Look, there's two of them coming out the front door.
Stop them, boys! Stop them!
That must be the sheriff out there.
Oh, this is perfect!
Perfect. He shot my arm.
I know. Isn't that lucky? Follow my lead.
Somebody get a light!
There's a lantern. I'll light it.
Jeff! You in there, Jeff?
Help! My husband has been shot!
Husband?
Yeah, you're kind of old for me, but it's not like we have time to run auditions. Go with it.
Who's there?
Are you the sheriff?
Yes, ma'am, but, who in tarnation are you? And where's Jeff?
I'm Madison Standish. This is my husband.
Fletcher.
Fletcher? Boy, your mother must not have liked you very much.
What are you two doing here? Where's Jeff Nichols?
Well, Sheriff, he left town late this afternoon. Drove his wagon up to the construction camp to deliver some supplies. My wife and I are old friends of Jeff. He asked us to watch the store until he gets back.
Well, I'll be. And you just got held up, huh?
Yes, by a tall outlaw wearing a mask.
We saw two men running away.
There was also an Injun.
Cotton gin! The masked outlaw also stole a cotton gin.
I didn't realize Jeff sold cotton gins. We don't even grow cotton in this part of the country.
He is a fan of Eli Whitney. Wow. And I told my history teacher memorizing who invented the cotton gin would never come up in my life. I was so wrong. Can I also interest you in the names of all the state capitals?
The coyotes get away with anything else?
Just the one, coyote.
Why aren't you telling them about the Injun?
Don't! I want to get Tonto away from the Lone Ranger, so I'm trying to pin the whole thing on him. Keep up.
All right, then. You say it's a tall critter with a mask, huh? The boys and me will try and trail him.
Then you are the sheriff here in Cottonwood? I should have known. You look so sheriffy.
Sheriffy?
In a good way. In the fine tradition of sheriffs. Like, Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Yep, Sheriff. Williams is the name. Frank Williams.
Glad to know you, Sheriff.
And you say you're friends with Jeff? I, don't recollect Jeff saying anything about delivering supplies to the construction camp.
Ah!
Oh, honey, your arm.
What you punch me for?
Sheriff, he needs some, doctoring.
Of course. I'll send the doc right over as we head out of town to find that masked outlaw. Come on, boys. Let's go.
Well, that was some fancy thinking on your part. You got the law on our side. Nicely done.
This is so perfect. If they arrest the Lone Ranger, Tonto can stop being in his shadow as the loyal sidekick. Ooh, maybe he could get his own show. And I could be his plucky companion.
You really see yourself as plucky?
Oh, honey, I can pluck.
Whoa, Silver!
Whoa, Scout.
Whoa, big fella!
You hear posse? Them go other way. We lose them.
But we still don't know what became of Jeff Nichols.
We go back?
No, not tonight, Tonto. I know those two are crooks, but why they've taken over Nichols' store and what they've done with Jeff is a puzzle.
What we do now?
We'll head for the construction camp at Snake River first thing in the morning. There is a chance Jeff did drive up there to deliver supplies. If not, then the answer is here in Cottonwood, and we'll come back to find it. Let's go.
Kimosabe.
What is it, Tonto?
We ride together long time.
Yes, we have.
Girl make point. Why I know speak 'em good English by now?
Well...
I translate all Indian tribes, many languages.
Maybe you have a better ear for Injun tongues.
No use that word.
All right, if you don't want me to.
Good. Giddy up, Scout!
We better be careful, Silver. I fear that girl may have awoken something in Tonto.
Good afternoon, Sheriff.
Hey.
Well, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Standish.
How did we end up with your last name?
You're the one who traded up, okay? If I were back home, I'd have to convince everybody you owned Amazon so they'd understand why we were together.
Glad you dropped in. How's your arm feeling, Mr. Standish?
Oh, fine. Barely a scratch.
No thanks to that masked man.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry to say it, but me and the boys didn't have much luck trailing that outlaw who tried to hold up the store.
It's too bad, but it isn't important.
Isn't important? Did you guys even try? I mean, it's 9 a.m. Why are you sitting around in your office? Why aren't you out there looking for him?
Well, the trail ran cold, and what with so much wilderness, the chances of finding anyone to...
Madison, I'm sure the sheriff and his men did the best they could.
Thank you for saying so, Mr. Standish.
He's the freaking Lone Ranger. Of course a bunch of yokels in this mud hole couldn't track him. Ooh, I wonder who'd win. The Lone Ranger versus Marshall Dillon. The crossover we didn't know we wanted.
Say, did Jeff get back from his trip?
Not yet, Sheriff, but I heard from him. I got the message early this morning.
Oh, that's so.
He's still up at the construction camp. Got a big order for 20 sacks of cement.
Hey, Sheriff, can you get Marshall Dillon on the telegraph? Tell him it's Madison. But if Kitty answers, hang up.
Afraid you'd have to go to the telegraph office for that, ma'am.
Don't mind her, Sheriff. The reason I came to see you was about that cement.
Yeah, I didn't know Jeff had cement in his store.
Sure, back room was full of it.
Sheriff, can I borrow some of your guns? I'm thinking maybe I should form my own posse. He might be the lead in his show, but I'm the lead in my show. So naturally, I should prevail, right?
Madison, put those guns down.
What was it about the cement you needed to see me about, Mr. Standish?
Well, I guess you've seen all those construction company signs around town that say help wanted?
Sure.
Ooh, maybe I should do that. One of those wanted, dead or alive posters for the Lone Ranger. I can use that money we're going to rob from the bank as reward.
How's that?
Sheriff, you'll have to excuse my wife's humor. You should hear her with the ladies in her sewing circle.
You want me to say I needle them and leave them in stitches, right? Well, I'm sorry. I don't wear last year's lip color, and I don't tell last century's jokes.
You see, Sheriff, with all the men already working up at the dam, I can't find anybody to load and deliver Jeff's cement order.
Well, that's too bad, Mr. Standish.
So I got to thinking, maybe you, being an old friend of Jeff's, would help us out. Haven't you got a couple of deputies who could load that cement onto a wagon and then deliver it up to the dam?
Why, sure. I could get 2 of my deputies, Paul Sutter and Bill Allister. They've got strong backs.
Well, splendid.
Oh, sure. You got deputies to spare to lug around bags of cement. But tracking down an outlaw is too hard.
Madison, nothing more can be done about that outlaw. So how about we end the discussion?
Was that old-timey for shut up?
Was I too plain in my suggestion?
I'll show you what you can do with your suggestion.
I'll have my deputies hitch up a wagon and come over to the store.
Madison, get away from those guns.
Wait till I find one that's loaded.
I could even lend a hand myself if it'll help.
Give me that gun.
Try and take it. I'm sorry, Sheriff. That chair did not deserve to die like that.
Perhaps you should go back to the store.
Perhaps. Good day, Sheriff.
Good day, Mrs. Standish. Well, she sure has spirit. Reminds me of an old dog I used to have. Died of rabies. Maybe you'll get lucky, huh?
Whoa, Silver!
Oh, Scout.
Easy. Steady now.
We spend all day riding to construction camp and not find old fella.
Now we'll have to try and get inside Jeff's store. It's dark, so we won't be seen. We'll leave the horses down the street and walk to the back of the store.
Or
what, Tonto?
why we always do your plan. Why Tonto no come up with plan?
Well, okay. What plan do you suggest?
Me have no plan. But maybe want be asked from time to time.
Yes, of course, Tonto. Anytime you have a suggestion, I'm very open to hearing it.
Good. For now, we do your plan. Giddy up, scout.
Giddy up. Maybe I don't feel like saying hi-yo Silver this time. Can't you just move? Hi-yo Silver, away.
Make it lively, boys. Mr. Standish wants the cement delivered tonight.
There's only 2 more sacks out back there in the storeroom.
Yep, we'll be ready to pull out in just a minute, Sheriff.
Sheriff, I don't know how to thank you and your men for all of this help.
Well, don't mention it, Mr. Standish. Maybe I sort of feel beholden to you for not catching that outlaw last night.
You think?
Yes, but what you're doing is much more help than catching an outlaw.
Yeah, you should just close the sheriff's office and become a day laborer outside of Home Depot.
Madison, we don't want this sheriff catching outlaws. Last I checked, that's what we are.
I'm your cauliflower.
What?
Dude, all I can think of is food for that.
Say, Sheriff, if you won't let me pay you and your men anything, least you can do is let me buy you a drink. What do you say?
Sure, no harm in that.
Sounds good to me.
Me too.
Yeah, let's get wasted.
Madison, don't you think you should close up the storeroom? Hate to see another outlaw break in there. Why, what would Jeff say?
Aw, come on. My tank's on empty. And this Old West whiskey could get an alcoholic drunk just by smelling it.
There were some things you wanted to get done before it got too late.
Why don't you do them and I go to the saloon?
Because this was the only thing I asked you to do. Or did you have another way to pay for your passage to Cottonwood?
You make your own wife pay for her travel?
Yeah, honey. You need to take care of your helpless little woman.
Maybe there's something I could help you with, Mrs. Standish?
No, Sheriff. With all the work you and your deputies have done, you should really relax with a drink. Madison will be all right, won't you, darling?
Yes. At least bring me back a doggy bag.
Let's go over to the Palace Cafe.
All this so I can help Tonto, and he doesn't even want my help. Oh no, am I being a white savior? I didn't mean to. I just thought I was in a unique position to give help to a fellow human being. Oh, damn it! I'll have to figure this out later. Now I gotta go rob this bank.
They've all left. This is our chance, Tonto. Help me lift the window.
Me go with you.
No, Tonto. You stay here and watch. Warn me when you hear the sheriff and those men coming back.
Why you no stay and watch? Why Tonto not go inside?
Well, I, had a hunch I was going to check out. So, rather than explain it all, I'll be, right back.
Guess Tonto just watchdog.
Of course he left the keys in the stupid wagon. Got me walking all back and forth and... Tonto!
Madison?
What are you doing here? Is the Lone Ranger around?
He inside store.
He is? Now's our chance. Let's get you out of here. You can create your own adventures. And I'll be your plucky sidekick.
Plucky?
Why does no one think I could be plucky?
Tonto no leave. Must help Kimosabe.
But aren't you tired of always being in his shadow? A two-dimensional representation of a great people?
You strange woman.
You're not the first to tell me that.
Tonto!
Kimosabe returned.
I'm gonna hide over here and listen. Don't tell him where I am.
Me not so sure you no crook.
Oh, come on. We've all stolen a French fry from work, run a stop sign when the street was empty, shoplifted a Gucci bag from Bloomingdale's and pinned it on our grandmother's dementia. I'll take that as a yes. Thanks, Tonto.
No sign of those men?
No. You find out about old fella?
I discovered several things in that storeroom, but there wasn't time to reach Jeff Nichols. But I'm sure he's still alive.
That good.
There isn't time to explain it all now, but I'll tell you what we're going to do.
We go somewhere else, and you tell me, in case someone here.
No one's going to hear us, and it's better if we stay right here. That way I can see if the sheriff and his men are coming back.
But Tonto think we can still see men if we move over there.
Tonto, please. I'm trying to explain my plan.
Like talking to masked rock.
Thanks for the drink, Mr. Standish.
We'll deliver this shipment of cement to the construction camp before midnight.
You do it, boys. Good luck and good night.
Hold on, fellas. I might as well ride as far as my office with you. See you tomorrow, Mr. Standish.
Night, Sheriff. Better not hold your breath until you see me again, you dumb tin-star yokel. Now Madison better have done her end of the job.
All right, Tonto. I'll go through the rear window in Jeff's store. Do exactly as I told you.
You can always count on me, Kimosabe.
I know. That's what makes you such a great friend.
Oh, this is too perfect. Okay, here's a rock. Give him a couple minutes to get in there, then throw it.
Tonto not sure about this.
Dude, listen to yourself. Tonto not sure. You're referring to yourself in the third person. He's never corrected you because it makes him sound superior and you ignorant.
You not know what Tonto meant when me said that?
I know what you meant, but you sound,
Ignorant? All people who know speak English good sound ignorant to you?
Hey, no, that's not what I meant. I'm on your side.
Why there need be sides?
Hey, what's going on? That sounded like it come from the bank.
Someone's trying to break into the bank! Help, bank robbers!
All right, here they come.
And here go Tonto.
Where go, Tonto? No! What are you doing? We gotta hide around the corner.
That not Kimosabe's plan.
I know! It's Madison's plan.
Madison, not Kimosabe. Not faithful friend to Tonto.
Look, that Indian's climbing through the bank window.
Bank robbers!
Stop him, Sheriff.
I'll get him.
Oh, crap.
Mrs. Standish, what are you doing here?
Realizing I can't change the past, all I can do is learn from it and promise to do better in the future.
All right then. But you should find a safe place. There's a bank robbery going on.
I know.
You know?
Look out, Sheriff. He's inside there now.
He's a cinch to have a gun.
So have I. I'm going in after that coyote. Any of you want to back me up? Come on!
Well, I guess all I can do now is make sure Barney Fife doesn't shoot the wrong guy.
There he is, standing over there.
Reach, Injun! Get your hands up before I fill you full of lead.
Wait, and you catch real crook plenty soon.
You're real enough for me.
Get him, Sheriff!
Everybody, shut the hell up! Angry mobs are so annoying.
Mrs. Standish, get out of here before you get hurt.
Tonto is not the bank robber.
He just broke into the bank. He's standing right there, and he's not the bank robber?
Wait, listen. You hear noise?
Shut up! Save your mob mentality for the next Trump rally.
It come from underneath floor.
What's underneath what?
There is something going on, Sheriff.
It's under the floor.
Stand back, boys. Let's see what this is all about.
Aha, it worked. I've broken through the floor. It'll be a cinch now.
Well, I'll be. It's Mr. Standish.
Mr. Cobb, actually, we're not married. I'll admit, I have a thing for bad boys, but young, hot bad boys. For dudes his age, they gotta own the bank, not be robbing it.
What's going on? Sheriff?
That's right. Waiting for you. Put up your hands.
You're not catching me, Sheriff.
He's going back down in the hole.
Stop him, Sheriff.
That masked man, he's back there in the storeroom.
I warned you.
Stop. I'm coming through.
Newfangled bank robber, huh? Coming up through the floor. How'd you get down there?
They tunneled through from my storeroom.
Jeff Nichols? How in tarnation? I thought you were delivering supplies up at the construction camp.
I've been bound and gagged lying down there in that tunnel they dug ever since yesterday afternoon.
Well, I'll be. Those sacks of cement that the boys loaded into the wagon...
That wasn't cement. Just the way them crooks got rid of the dirt out of the tunnel.
And I fell for it, by Juniper.
How did you happen to be here waiting for them?
The Indian broke the bank window and then pointed out the noise under the floor. Say, where is the Indian?
I don't know.
I haven't seen him.
If you were bound and gagged, Jeff, how did you get loose? And who was doing all that shooting?
The answer to both those questions is the same name. The Lone Ranger. I'm so glad you caught both of them crooks.
Both?
Sure. Cobb and that lady friend of his, Madison. Yeah, Madison Standish.
She ain't here neither, Sheriff.
How'd she get away?
I'm your Madison. Okay, not the best catchphrase, but I'm not exactly riding off into the sunset here.
Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Yeah, we get it. Show off. The Lone Ranger first hit the airwaves in 1933 on WXYZ in Detroit. Created by the station's owner, George Trendle, and writer Fran Stryker. Trendle is also credited with creating Challenge of the Yukon and The Green Hornet. The radio show proved to be a success and produced 2,956 episodes. Yeah, good luck trying to binge that one. The Lone Ranger would go on to books, comics, television, and movies. The character is considered today to be an icon of American culture. Hey everybody, it's Madison. Thank you so much for listening. Have you signed up for my newsletter yet? Twice a month, get sneak peeks and not found anywhere else Madison stuff. To sign up, go to my website, madisonontheair.com. And don't forget to follow me on your favorite socials. I post daily to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Mastodon. My handle is @MadisonOnTheAir. Okay, now, listen to these credits, you guys, because this cast was amazing. Take it away, announcer dude.
Madison on the Air was written and produced by Chrissy Talon Sage with original music composition and audio engineering by Jeremy Sage. The role of Madison Standish was played by Chrissy Talon Sage. Andrew Chan appeared as the Lone Ranger, and Jerry Kokich appeared as Tonto. Other actors in the cast were Scott R. McKinley as Fletcher Cobb, David Pinion as Sheriff Williams, Paul Arabisi as Jeff Nichols, Logan Smith as Deputy Paul and Man 1, Bill Jenkins as Deputy Bill and Man 2, Matthew Bird as the narrator, and Jeremy Sage as the stagecoach driver. The Lone Ranger theme, aka the William Tell Overture, was composed by Gioacchino Rossini.